do the double colors. I'll show you how to do that. You might notice I've got a little different setup. I've got plastic taped down here where my printing plate is gonna go. That way we can clean this area up if it gets too messy. I've got a long, skinny inking plate today. That way we can roll out the two colors and it keeps us kind of in one little spot so that they don't get mixed up too much. And anything other than this area is gonna be my clean area where I can flip and pull my print. So, to get started, we're going to squeeze out a little bit of each color up the size of a nickel. We want those colors to be about a knuckle apart. So about an inch, inch and a half apart. So I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit of ink from each color, trying to keep these little blobs of ink about the same size. All right. Now we're going to take our brayer and we're going to gently start to spread out that color. In order to get it to be more even and not so lumpy on the roller, we need to lift the roller up and set it back down in different spots vertically. We want it to be in exactly the same spot horizontally right now. And we want to just work on getting those two colors rolled out more evenly so there's not a big glop somewhere and nothing in another spot. So just forward and backward to start. And once we get them more even, now we have to get them to mix in the center. So now I'm just gonna ever so slightly pick up my brayer and set it off to the left, maybe like 1/2 centimeter, and roll it forward and backward. Then I'm going to pick it up and set it the other direction. So I'm looking at this middle line where they meet, and I'm going like just 1/2 centimeter to the right, and I'm gonna roll it forward and backward. And that will create this area where they blend in between. This bit of ink here really should be just a tiny bit wider than the actual width of the brayer. That's our roller. I'm noticing I might need a little bit more ink here, so I'm gonna add a tiny bit more ink to the outside edge of this space here with the blue, because it looks really nice in the middle, but I'm a little light on the edges here with my colors. So I'm gonna add a little bit more blue and a little bit more yellow to the edges of my band here. And I'm gonna get that rolled out evenly, and then I will be ready to ink my plate. So again, I'm picking up the brayer and setting it back down so that when I'm setting it down, it kind of ends up in a different spot along this path, and it helps to roll that ink out more evenly. All right, that looks really good. So remember, we can kind of tell what's going on when we look at this, but really we want to look at the brayer to see if it's even on here. And I noticed that I've got more blue right here and more yellow right here, and it's got just the right amount of ink in the middle. So I've got to do a little bit more rolling to get it more evened out here. Now we've got more even brayer. Notice it's missing some ink on the right side here. That blue doesn't look as thick as the rest, so I'm gonna try to scoot it just a tiny bit over so I can pick up more of that blue. All right, so now my brayer looks even. I don't know if you can see that. Looks like there's the same amount of ink all the way across. So now I'm ready to roll it over here on my plate. So I'm gonna roll it nice and slow. I'm only going up and down. I'm gonna come over here and pick up a little bit more. That's like dunking our brush in more paint. I'm gonna come back here and roll it on. I wanna make sure my whole printing plate is covered evenly. I'm just gonna give it one more swipe here. And that looks pretty good. I've got one little spot at the top that doesn't wanna get ink on it. There we go, we got it. So now we're gonna set that brayer down right in the path where we were rolling. So the handle is hanging off the end. And now I'm gonna take my printing plate over to my paper in the clean area. Now the next person can start printing here. And I'm gonna make sure my name is on it before I print. I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm going to let it stick down to the surface. Give it a little gentle tap. We're not gonna slide it around. If it ends up a little crooked, we're just gonna let it be. Flip it over, we're gonna hold it nice and firm and rub it with our fingerprints Rub the edges, rub the sides, rub the middle. Especially with this thicker paper, we really need to do a good job with the transferring part. So make sure you're really pushing pressure down without sliding it around. Little circles with your fingerprints. And then we're gonna flip it back over, and then we peel to reveal. So you can see it shows that blend here. Now I could do another print. If I stay at this station, I don't have to wash my printing plate. If I go to a different station with different colors, this needs to be rinsed, dried completely before I go to the next table. Because if I roll a different color brayer on here, it will contaminate that whole area for the next person who's gonna print. So make sure this is washed and blotted really gently with a paper towel and dried off before you go to your next station.